You're watching the news leader, WDAY, the most watched news in the region. From the region's only locally owned station, you're watching the news leader, WDAY.
Next on First News, breaking overnight, a shooting in Fargo has left a man in the hospital fighting for his life. We'll show you the heavy police response and tell you whether or not they have a suspect. And right now, the U.S. government is looking to prevent a government shutdown. We'll tell you the steps leading up to the bill now on President Biden's desk. And a live look outside, Storm Tracker meteorologist Tim Albertson is tracking a calm start to your October. Good morning, it's Saturday, October 1st. It's 8:03 a.m. I'm Ben Morris. Let's check in with Tim for a look at your morning forecast.
Oh, thank you very much, Ben. We're taking a look at our tower cams this morning here. We do see that we do have cloud cover across our region. What's up in the forecast coming up in just a few moments, so stick around.
Breaking overnight, a man is in the hospital fighting for his life after a shooting in downtown Fargo near Rhombus, guys. WDAY News reporter Matt Henson was there overnight. He tells us about the police response there and if officers know who the shooter is.
Fargo police spent several hours overnight going through that apartment right above Rhombus, guys, trying to piece together exactly what happened. Just after 9:30, police were called to the apartment for the report of a shooting. When they got there, they found a man who had been shot. He was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery, and police are not sure if he will live. By the time officers got there, the shooter was gone. That prompted police to close off several blocks of Main Avenue, along with an alley behind the building, until officers could confirm the shooter was no longer around. Fargo police were seen interviewing people one by one as they left Rhombus, guys. Several people we spoke with said they didn't hear anything. Police have not released the name of the victim or shooter, but say they know who he is.
The victim and suspect were known to each other, and this was the result of a reported altercation.
Fargo police say they will release more information later today. Reporting in downtown Fargo, Matt Henson, WDAY News.
Stick with the news leader for those updates in our evening newscasts. WDAY is tracking new developments in a case out of Foster County, North Dakota, gaining national attention. We learned charges were upgraded to murder against a Glenfield, North Dakota man accused of running down a teenager with his pickup truck after a street dance in McHenry, North Dakota. 41-year-old Shannon Brandt is now in jail on $1 million bond. He was initially charged with criminal vehicular homicide in connection with the September 18th death of 18-year-old Kaylor Ellingson. Brandt is the one who called 911 claiming it was an accident, and Ellingson was the instigator. The charges changed after an autopsy found Ellingson was on the ground before he was run over. WDAY checked the court papers. They say Brandt first told investigators he intentionally hit Ellingson with his pickup because Ellingson was a, quote, Republican extremist who was after him. But police say there is no evidence of any sort of political fight that night. Next, a judge will decide if there's enough evidence to support the murder charge. That preliminary hearing hasn't been scheduled yet. If convicted, Brandt could get up to a life in prison. WDAY is also tracking developments in the case of a Minnesota murder leading to a nearly month-long manhunt. Eric Reinbold is now charged with murder for stabbing his wife 27 times before her body was found by one of their children. A 12-person jury found the 46-year-old guilty of both counts of second-degree murder yesterday. He attacked his wife, Lisette, at her home near Oakley in July of last year. Reinbold was then on the run for 26 days because he was spotted in these trail camera photos leading to his arrest. The jury also agreed with the prosecutor's argument for aggravated sentencing. Prosecutors say they will seek the maximum sentence, and a sentencing hearing has not been scheduled yet. Right now, a Fargo man is facing charges in connection with a 2-year-old cold case after police got information from someone who was part of the drive-by shooting. Right now, 31-year-old Joshua Brooks is in jail on $1 million bond. He's facing felony charges of accomplice to murder and accomplice to aggravated assault. Police say Brooks helped another person who shot and killed 41-year-old Santino Marial in the head outside the Cheyenne Estates apartment complex off 13th Avenue South 2 years ago. Mariel died at a hospital. Take a look at this video of the scene. Detectives recently got a big break in the case when a passenger recently identified Brooks as planning the killing and being the driver. The informant said they thought it would just be a fight because Mariel owed Brooks money. And right now, a Moose Lake man is in jail facing a number of charges after a short standoff on Highway 75 in Moorhead. Just before 11 yesterday morning, police responded to a disturbance near the intersection of 15th Avenue North and 11th Street. That's near Matson Field. And when they got there, the suspect took off in a silver car. Police identified him as Tad Butcher. He ran into stop sticks deployed by Clay County Sheriff on 15th Avenue North. The short pursuit ended when Butcher came to a stop in the 5,000 block of Highway 75 North. After a short standoff, he eventually surrendered and was arrested. Right now, the bill to avoid a government shutdown is on President Biden's desk, waiting for a signature. Congress voted last night to avoid a government shutdown at least until December. The House of Representatives voted to approve a bill to fund the government through December 16th, averting a midnight shutdown when funding was set to expire. The Senate passed the measure on Thursday. In addition to the money to keep government agencies afloat, the short-term funding measures provide around $12 billion for Ukraine. And this weekend, Walt Disney World in Florida is welcoming guests back after Hurricane Ian. The storm moved out of the Orlando area late Thursday, greatly improving weather conditions. We learned theme parks and Disney Springs will be opening in a phased approach, but as of now, there is no specific timeline. Next on First News, lots of new movies are hitting the big screen in October. We'll tell you what titles are on their way, including a new title in the Halloween franchise. Today, you can watch a spooky movie in the park. Hocus Pocus is coming to Moorhead. Its sequel premiered on Disney Plus yesterday, nearly 30 years after the release of the original. The movie itself will start at sundown, but you can head there starting at 7 tonight for art activities. There will be drinks and popcorn, but you're encouraged to bring your own chair or blanket. It's all happening at the Heritage Garden and Amphitheater located in Woodlawn Park in Moorhead. And it's the 1st of October. This month is bringing horror, a Dwayne Johnson blockbuster, and award season contenders to the big screen. Rick Damigella gives us a preview of some of October's biggest movie titles.
So, two soldiers and a nurse found ourselves in
Amsterdam.
Margot Robbie, John David Washington, and Christian Bale lead an all-star cast in Amsterdam. Set during the 1930s, the mystery comedy from writer-director David O. Russell opens in theaters October 7th.
I was certain that I saw him watching me.
You pretend like you moved on, but you're actually just obsessed with death.
October is high season for horror films, and one of the biggest horror movie franchises reaches a climax with Halloween Ends. Michael Myers simultaneously creeps into theaters and onto the Peacock streaming service October 14th.
Black Adam.
We're here to negotiate your peaceful surrender.
Heard about at least 3 killings this afternoon.
I'm not peaceful.
Dwayne Johnson stars as the all-powerful anti-hero Black Adam. The blockbuster action flick also features the superheroics of Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate and Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. Black Adam soars into theaters October 21st.
The lynching of my son has shown me that what happens to any of us, anywhere in the world, had better be the business of us all.
Till stars Danielle Deadweiler as the mother of Emmett Till, the black teenager who was tortured and murdered in Mississippi in 1955. After screening in select theaters earlier in the month, Till opens nationwide October 28th. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Can I at least just
NASA and SpaceX are making a plan to try to extend the life of the nearly 33-year-old Hubble telescope. The company and the telescope and the space agency signed an agreement to investigate the benefits and risks of having a private mission provide service to Hubble. SpaceX approached NASA a few months ago with the idea and plans to study boosting the telescope to a higher orbit. It's not certain whether or not that mission could even happen, but the agreement is just to explore if it's possible. The Space Act agreement itself will not involve any exchange of money. And we get some rain on the way.
That's right. We could certainly use it. After all, it's been pretty dry out there overall. We are seeing portions of our region which are right now under what's considered a drought. However, I am tracking some rain showers. We'll talk about that in just a few moments. Alrighty, everyone. Well, taking a look at the latest weather map this morning. Highs in the 40s as we head into Thursday.
Today, Food Network star and East Grand Forks favorite Molly Ye will sign copies of her new book at her new restaurant to celebrate opening day. It's all happening at her new restaurant, Bernie's, on Demers Avenue in East Grand Forks. The signing is there from 2 to 4 this afternoon, and you can buy a copy of her book, eat a pastry, and get a hot dish temporary tattoo. Molly will also be in Fargo on Thursday to sign books at Zambro's in downtown, but WDAY checked, and both of those Fargo signings are sold out. Giving is always in style. Today is the last day you can shop for a cause at Leela and Lavender to support the Landon's Light Foundation. Landon's Light is an organization that helps kids in our area battling cancer. It was created to honor Landon Solberg, who passed away in 2019 from brain cancer at age 12. And as part of the Shop for a Cause event, part of the money from everything you buy today will go back to Landon's Light. Leela and Lavender is off 45th Street in South Fargo near the Tavern Grill. You can shop from 10 this morning to 6 tonight. Next on First News, Bison fans, it's game day. We're taking you behind the scenes and how your home of the herd makes those broadcasts happen. Up in Grand Forks, UND fans, it's time to get pumped up for your homecoming game. UND's homecoming parade starts this morning at 9. It will go down University Avenue through the campus. UND police tell us drivers will not be allowed to go from Stanford Road to North 25th Street. Columbia Road from 2nd Avenue North to University Avenue will also be blocked off. Those blocks are expected to start around 8:45 this morning, and the roads are expected to open back up at around 10:15. Today, WDAY is your home for the herd for Bison homecoming. Bison are kicking off against Youngstown State. Our game day coverage starts at 12:50 with kickoff inside the Fargo Dome at 1. You can also catch our Bison game day pregame show starting at 10 this morning right here on the News Leader. And we all know the faces that bring you the game day coverage. Don Mizzo, Logan Campbell, Jeff Kolpak, and Kyle Emanuel. But today, we are giving you a look at the people behind the scenes. There's at least 25 people on the team that get the game on air. Photographers, engineers, and technical staff are at the Fargo Dome several hours before game time. It takes 50 to 60 hours every week to get things ready, and that's everything from interviews, editing, and creating new graphics. The production team starts holding weekly meetings in May and continues all season long. When we come back, Tim has one last look at your weather forecast. Plus,
coming up on Ag Week TV right after First News.
Alrighty, everyone. As we work our way through this afternoon, we are going to be seeing some pretty mild temperatures in our region, all things considered. A little bit higher for tomorrow, but your lows too, going down into the 20s as we head towards the end of the work week.
Oof, sounds a little too chilly for me, but
I like it.
Fair enough. Thank you, Tim, and thank you for starting your day with us here on First News. Tune into our evening news at 6 and 10, and stay tuned for Ag Week TV coming up